Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to the 5th Autumn 2021 update. So here we go again, it's Sunday and it's time to bring you another autumn update. And this week we're going to be following on from last week actually, which looked at June centering temperature. This week we're going to be looking at June, England and Wales precipitation. For autumn. So I shall get on with that for you very shortly. Just to say that the first video released today. I'm back in business. Was a 7 a.m. Forecast. So check that out if you have not yet done so. I've got GavsWeatherVids round coming up for you later on this afternoon around lunchtime. That's going to be your eclectic mix of this and that. And we're going to be live streaming from 6 p.m. So live stream, so we've got to do some long range for you, and the live stream will be coming up from 6 p.m. We'll have a look at Patel Payne's analogues for rest of summer, for autumn, and also for winter 2021-2022, and as I say, that will be coming up for you from 6 p.m. I shall have it wrapped up before the final. Don't worry, I won't be running on into the final of Euro 2020. I know my place, so those of you that are going to want to watch, I think it'll be everybody really going to want to watch the final of Euro 2020. Don't need to worry. Gav will be having it wrapped up well and truly before kick-off at 8. But I shall see you live then. But we've got plenty to do before then, so I've got this to get on with, and also, of course, GavsWeatherVids Sunny Roundup. If you enjoy the content on my channel, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Thank you so much to Rich for the incredible autumn updates gift. I love the autumn updates gift because the colours were so incredibly vibrant. Thank you so much to Rich. And also thank you so much to Shrine as well for getting all of the years together. Thank you so much to Richard Troy and to Shrine Bruin for all of the help on this and all of our updates. Thank you so much to both of you. Thank you to all of you for tuning in on this Sunday, of course. Just say that the video could be quite a long one, so if you can't watch it all in go, then don't worry, you will be able to watch it on demand here on the channel. It is now within the Autumn 2021 Updates playlist, so you can find that on the YouTube homepage, so you'll be able to come back and watch the video on demand whenever you would like to do that. The GavsWeatherVids YouTube homepage, I suppose I should say. Right, okay, let's get on with it then. So we're going to be looking at England Wales precipitation for this one. So, of course, the England and Wales P index is one of the oldest indexes for precipitation anywhere on Earth in the world. Goes all the way back to 1766, this particular year, just here, which we see the very first entry for January 1766 was exceptionally dry. Right, anyway, let's move down through the, I'm off on a tangent already, let's move down through the decades and the centuries, and we come down to the latest year, which of course is 2021, just there, and we see that June's England and Wales precipitation for 2021 came out 59.6 millimetres, a relatively dryish June, really 59.6 millimetres. Was where we finished up with England and Wales precipitation during this June just gone. And so very, very simply, we're going to be looking at autumns following Junes with an England and Wales precipitation range of 55 to 64 millimetres, which of course is going to place June 2021 slap bang, absolutely slap bang in the middle of that range. I shall turn the webcam on and we shall rattle through these for you then. So our first autumn is going to be 1842 following a June England and Wales precipitation of 55-64 millimetres. This one looks cold and unsettled. It has blocking around Iceland and Greenland with below average heights across northern and western Europe. A jet stream is plunging southwards as well. So a cold and wet autumn. Wind shear potential. That goes on into November. You know, winds coming in from the northeast. There's wind shear potential for November with that. A cold and wet autumn to start us off. Our next autumn is 1854. This one has a mid-Atlantic ridge with low pressure trough of below average heights to our east. Again, this is a little bit northerly, suggests quite a cold autumn, maybe a little bit dry. The Atlantic is quite blocked off, but definite suggestion of quite a cold autumn with that one. Our next autumn will be 1856. Again, looks quite a cold scenario with above average heights out to our west and northwest, probably bringing wind from like a northeasterly direction. Again, reasonably settled, definite high pressure in the Atlantic, but a little bit on the cold side, especially later on. This one looks like a milder, wetter autumn with deep low pressure in off the Atlantic into West Europe. There is a bit of northern blocking, but I think the main thing with this one is very westerly jet stream, so a very wet autumn with that one, and probably relatively mild. Our next autumn is 1873, and we go back to the mid-Atlantic ridge idea with the trough of below average heights to our north and east. Again, you kind of envisage that's quite a cool or maybe even relatively cold scenario for that autumn of 1873 with winds in from the north or from the northeast. Our next autumn is 1876 with masses of northern blocking, lots of high pressure around Greenland and Iceland, sending the jet stream and the low pressure southwards as well. So that one, again, looks like it could be quite a cold autumn. Definite signal for these earlier autumns to be pretty cold, with winds tend to be coming in from a northeasterly type direction a lot of the time. Our next autumn, following June, England and Wales precipitation range of 55-64 millimetres, is 1885. This one, again, with lots of low pressure across northern and western parts of Europe. We lose the northern blocking with this, and so it's not such a cold signal, but it's definitely very unsettled with deep low pressure across northern and western parts of Europe, suggesting a very wet autumn with that one. This one's a little bit different. This is our first anticyclonic autumn and warmer autumn as well. This is 1898 with above average heights sitting over and to the east of the country, below average heights out to the west, and we're drawing up wind from like a southerly to southeasterly direction. Suggests a much milder season, much milder autumn, and also a drier autumn as well with that one. Then we go through to 1901. This one was a little bit cold, so this one has above average heights over and to the north of the country with below average heights to our south. Suggests winds coming in from an easterly direction, relatively dry, again with this autumn, but probably quite a cool to cold autumn. Then go through to 1914. This one again, a bit of an anticyclonic signal with the above average heights to our west and northwest, below average heights more towards eastern, southeastern parts of Europe. I think that's a relatively mild and pretty dry autumn in 1914. Long gap then through to 1933. This one follows, of course, a hot extended summer, and the pattern goes on into the autumn as well. So 1933 is one of those years that has a pretty dry and hot summer. Starts early on, the pattern starts early on in the spring and still goes on into the autumn. So this extended sort of summer just suggests a lot of high pressure close to the country, bringing a relatively dry and pretty warm season. Then we've got 1939 showing up next, the autumn of 1939, preceding, of course, a severely cold winter for 1940. This one with high pressure around Iceland and Greenland, low pressure is to our south, winds in from the east. There's a lot of dry weather through this autumn, and it's quite cool as well earlier on, especially through September and October, although November 1939 goes exceptionally mild, just a month or so out from what is a severely cold January and a very cold winter. Then we've got 1943. This is quite a mild and unsettled autumn, really, with below average heights across western parts of Europe. So that one is relatively mild, but also quite unsettled, I think. 1944 is also quite an unsettled autumn, with, again, back to that idea of like a mid-Atlantic ridge with lower pressure over to the east of the country. That looks colder and wetter, really, for the autumn of 1944. If you're enjoying this update, please can you smash your like button, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much to everybody for doing that. You'll be able to see future weather content if you do. And don't forget to tell your friends and family, everybody else who subscribe as well. Thank you so much to all of you. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. We're on to 1952 next. So this one is back to that idea of a mid-Atlantic ridge going north, really, like we had at the start of the analogues package this week. So above average heights, high pressure to our north and northwest, below average heights to our east and south. In come the winds from like an east or northeast direction. Could be quite a cold and wet signal for the autumn of 1952. A long gap to 1973. This is a drier autumn with above average heights over and just to the west of the country, below average heights to our east and northeast. little bit of a northerly flow around the area of high pressure. It could be a rather cool autumn. The main thing, though, is that it's pretty dry. Then we've got 1978. Again, this is preceding a very cold winter, severely cold January. Our last sub-zero CT January of 1979. This autumn is a dry and warm autumn, really, with high pressure centre pretty much over top of the country. Lots of low pressure to our north, but through most of the autumn, that's where it stays. It is an exceptionally dry autumn in 1978, particularly September and October. A little bit more unsettled in November, but even then, mainly dry and quite warm for much of the time. There's a big flip in the last week of November 1978, where it suddenly turns much colder, and we lock in then to, as I say, what is a very cold winter for 1978-1979. We saw 1978 a lot in earlier updates for like summer and also for spring. Haven't seen it that much in our autumn updates yet, but it's back in business this week following a June England and Wales precipitation range of 55 to 64 millimetres. Our next autumn is 1989. This is another one that's, you know, following an extended summer, so this one is just a dry and warm autumn, really, with high pressure over top of the country, lots of low pressure to the north. But as I say, this one is very extended summer. The summer begins in the spring, warm, dry conditions beginning in May and then going all the way through the summer and on into the autumn as well. Just a very excellent period of dry and really warm weather in 1989. Another pretty long gap to 2002. Now, this looks like it should be quite a cold autumn, but it isn't particularly. This one does have quite a bit of blocking to the north. It looks like low pressure is pushed south. So you look at that and think we probably have quite a cold autumn, but we do not. Actually, we have a dry and warm September in 2002. We do have a wet October in 2002, and then November is also wet, but is relatively mild as well. Our next autumn is 2004. This one with an anticyclonic sinusoid above average heights, again pushed out to our west. This one, again, another warm, dry September. Many of the Septembers, I'm sure everybody remembers this, or most people watching will remember this, many of the Septembers in the first decade of this century were warm and dry. 2004 is another warm, dry September. October 2004, another wet month, another wet October. And then November 2004, I think generally mild and dry as well. I've got 2005 showing up next. This one is a really warm autumn with high pressure sitting over to the east of the country. We're drawing up those southerly winds. So this one has a very warm September, again, but is wetter. September 2005 is a little bit wetter, but is very warm. October 2005 is also exceptionally warm month. And then we get through to November 2005, which is interesting because the first half of it is, again, very mild. Second half flips into a much colder pattern. Some ways there's a similarity in between November 2005 and November 1978, I think. Overall, it's a very warm autumn, though, in 2005. Coincided with a big hurricane season. Got 2008 next. So many from like the first decade of the 20th century. This is a colder and more unsettled autumn as well, with below average heights extending down through the western side of Europe, combined with that mid-Atlantic ridge. So I say many of the Septembers in the first decade of this century were 21st century were warm and dry, but actually 2008 has a wetter and cooler September. It also has a cooler October, especially at the end of October 2008, where we do actually get some snow across lowland southern England, which October is very, very unusual. And then November 2008 has regular cold snaps as well. Overall, that's a colder autumn and a little bit more unsettled as well. And then the last autumn that we have is 2009. I'm sure everybody remembers this because it precedes what was a very cold winter. This one is a very anticyclonic autumn overall, but with a big flip in November. So overall, the pattern shows above average heights across many western parts of Europe, but we see this area of below average heights, low pressure in the Atlantic, kind of giving the game away what happens later on. So September, October 2009 are very dry and warm, you know, very similar in type to 1978, but then a big flip in November 2009. It stays very mild, but it turns really wet in November 2009 with you know, so much rain and quite severe flooding as well. And as I say, that does precede a very cold winter for 2009, 2010. Right, that's the last year then. So let's start putting all of this together. So this is how all Septembers combined are looking following a June England Wales precipitation range of 55-64 millimeters. So for September overall, we see above average heights, high pressure to our west and northwest, with below average heights to our east and south. So just quite a coolish signal for these Septembers overall, but relatively dry as the Atlantic is blocked off. What rain there is most likely, interestingly, to more southern and eastern areas. All Octobers combined, following that June England Wales precipitation range of 55-64 millimeters, takes high pressure to our west and northwest and strengthens it a little bit. Below average heights deepening to our south and east suggests a more unsettled signal for October, and especially so in southern areas. Driest in the north, wettest in the south, which is quite unusual, and quite a cool signal as well. All Novembers combined, following a June England Wales precipitation range of 55-64 millimeters, looking like it has some cold potential, actually, with high pressure to our west and extending northwards as well. Below average heights to our east and south, and again, you could definitely envisage actually pulling the wind like a northerly or maybe even northeasterly direction with that. So that definitely brings some wintry potential in those Novembers. All Autumns combined, following a June England Wales precipitation range of 55-64 millimeters, look like this. Mid-Atlantic high, Mid-Atlantic ridge going northwards with below average heights to our south and east. There is cold potential later on with these Autumns. We had a lot of years in this analog package from the 1800s and the early 20th century, so let's get rid of all of those. Let's narrow it down. Just look at the years after 1950, and that does narrow it down a lot, actually. It gives us just 1952, 1973, 1978, 1989, 2002, 2004, 2005, 2008, and 2009. And this is how all Septembers combined are looking, following June England Wales precipitation range of 55-64 millimeters, post 1950, anticyclonic with high pressure over top of the country, low pressure to our north, a relatively dry, and you would have thought probably a lot of the time anyway, quite warm signal for those Septembers. All Octobers combined also going really anticyclonic as well, post 1950, with above average heights extending through much of Western Europe. Does suggest like a warm and dry signal for those Octobers. Bear in mind, this is just all of the years together. There are exceptions. 2002 is a wet October. 2004 is a wet October. We know 2008 actually had snow at the end of October. But generally, this is a warm, dry signal for a lot of those Octobers. And then, interestingly, it doesn't make much difference for all Novembers combined, following June England Wales precipitation range of 55-64 millimeters post 1950, because we still have that mid-Atlantic ridge going northwards with a trough of low pressure to the east. So still suggests wintry potential for a lot of these Novembers, with winds in from the north. Yes, we could see some early cold snaps, and dare I say it, maybe even some early snowfalls with a lot of those Novembers. Lastly, this is how all Autumns combined are looking, following a June England Wales precipitation range of 55-64 millimeters post 1950. Try saying all of that when you've had a drink after watching Euro 2020, and it shows high pressure, more or less over top of the country, a little bit to west, below average heights to our east and northeast, and around the ridge we're bringing wind from the northwest. So overall, a dry signal for a lot of these Autumns. But yeah, there is cold potential there, especially so in November. And we are done with the 5th Autumn 2021 update. So, of course, webcam's still on. So, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. This video is within the Autumn Updates playlist. You can watch it on demand. Come back and have a look at it whenever you would like to do that. Thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And, yeah, absolutely amazing and incredible. We're going to be back later on GavsWeatherVids Sunday Roundup. We're going to be live streaming from 6 PM. And don't forget, all of these autumn updates are building up the picture to the autumn forecast. That's going to be released on Sunday, the 29th of August. So we're getting, we're getting on with these autumn updates now. I think we're going to be over halfway through next week. Yeah, so thank you so much everybody for watching. Come back later on for the Sunday Roundup and also for our live stream at 6 p.m. We're going to show you Patel Pens analysis for winter 2021-2022 in that live stream. So it's going to be great. It's going to be epic. I shall see you live from then. And I'm back. Gav's back in business. Yeah, GavsWeatherVids. So, you know, business as usual has resumed. Right, I'll see you later on then. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday. That's all for now. And thanks for watching.